Alright, man, peace. So, brothers, I did a couple of videos a few months ago entitled Kevin Durant Twitter Victim, in which I detailed the parameters around which Kevin Durant decided that he was going to create multiple quote-unquote burner accounts so that he could argue with idiots and trolls on the internet, on various social media outlets, so that he could fabricate an outlet in which he can say things that he knew he could not say under his actual screen name. In many of these so-called burner accounts, he was throwing Billy Donovan under the bus. He was throwing Russell Westbrook under the bus. Living under a false pretense, under a pseudonym, gave him the freedom to be the person that he actually wanted to be. And what that told me was that he was not confident enough to just let the past go. He'd already moved forward. I think that it would have been more understandable had he still been on the Oklahoma City roster. Because then I could have said to myself, well, he's frustrated, he feels trapped, and he needs to express his true thoughts without alienating himself from his teammates. And if he would have gotten caught doing that while he was on the OKC Thunder, it would have been a disaster that he probably would not have been able to rebound from, no pun intended. But seeing as though he moved on to a far better situation, and he still felt compelled to create, or at least perpetuate, these false accounts and still throw his former teammates under the bus, that told me that there were some unresolved issues within his heart and some guilt issues that he was dealing with in regards to the way in which he left Oklahoma City. Well, Kevin Durant and his insecurities have popped up again, and let me say this. I don't think that KD is insecure because he decided to respond back to a quote-unquote troll or quote-unquote fan on social media. I think that what makes Kevin Durant insecure is the fact that he's not responding to any of his detractors or trolls with facts. I think that if you're going to go back and forth with a troll, it should be kept to a maximum of 2 responses, and you should try to state as many facts as possible and then remove yourself from that situation. That's if you decide to even entertain that. But sometimes you feel compelled to quote-unquote clap back or to at least make your perspective known. That's understandable. Kevin Durant is a human being. I can never understand what it means to be 6'11", 7 feet tall, and leave your house and everybody recognizes you. To live in that type of a fishbowl, I can't even comprehend that. So the fact that Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, they do such a great job of living within that fishbowl and being upstanding citizens, good for them. Good for them. But once again, Kevin Durant has to figure out who he is, because one of the most important aspects of maturing as a man is knowing who to care about and who not to care about. And if you're going to strike back at someone, make sure that you strike back with a lethal attack. Strike back with a lethal attack. Do not strike back in a way in which they can cleave on to anything, where they can still respond back to you and you look weak. And oftentimes, in many of Kevin's responses to his trolls, to his fanboys, he looks weak. And there's no reason why he should look weak. There's no reason why he should be responding to people and have no facts on his side. But anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Meg Trolling, a teenage Instagrammer, made a post about elite 2A players who don't elevate their teams like LeBron and Steph.
Now let's look at this exchange. This person, Bucket Center, thoughts, agree or disagree, hashtag bucket getters. This person is most likely, I'm guessing from what I see here, he's on Instagram. He's trying to build up his own brand. And he states that these are 3 elite 2-way players, but don't elevate a team quite like LeBron and Steph due to their playmaking, leadership deficiencies. To be quite frank with you, I agree with this person, Bucket Center. I agree with him. But the reason why Kevin Durant has to be grouped with these other 2 players is not because he doesn't make his teammates better, because that's pretty much what playmaking is, that you make your teammates better, or that you're able to use them to make your team better. That's pretty much what LeBron James does. LeBron doesn't really make his teammates better. He's able to graft them in and make the team better. Kevin Durant has shown that he has playmaking skills, but what he's also shown is that he's not a leader, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to be a better second in command than a leader. KD will never be a leader, and I think that bothers him, because what that implies is that he ran from a responsibility in Oklahoma City that he was not running from. He just was not compatible with Russell Westbrook. And you can say that about a lot of players. There are very few players who would have been compatible with Russell Westbrook. I'm not even quite sure if Paul George is compatible with Russell Westbrook. I think that Paul George is looking at the LA situation and views it as being untenable, at least for now. I actually think that he'd rather be there after LeBron is gone. But let's look at what Kevin Durant states in his response back to Bucket Center. Kevin Durant says, "Bruh, go sweep your dorm room. You don't know hoops. Stop tagging me in this trash." Well, Kev, you know what you should have done, brother? You should have just blocked him. That's all. Problem solved. That's what you do on social media when people are beneath you or conducting themselves in a two-dimensional way to drag you down to their level. All you got to do is block them. I believe that this person, Bucket Center, has been tagging Kevin Durant for a long time, and that many of the things that he said in the past, Kevin Durant agreed with. But now this statement here, KD does not agree with, so he decided that he wanted to clap back, quote unquote. And to be quite frank with you, I think that this person, Bucket Center, was correct. But if KD was going to respond back, he should have responded back with something of substance. All he had to say is, hey, remember when Russell Westbrook got hurt back in 2014 and I was getting triple doubles like LeBron and I was leading my team when I won the MVP? Remember when I was able to play make on the Golden State Warriors when Steph Curry was out, or even when he was playing for spots here and there? That's all he had to say if he wanted to engage with the fanboy. But all a fanboy is at the end of the day is a dude who is mentally and emotionally unstable and overly infatuated with certain male athletes or certain prominent male figures. That's why I tell brothers incessantly on this channel to not be a fanboy. You can admire someone's skills or their gifts. You acknowledge it, but spend your time working on your own gifts. Of course, you respect everyone for their gifts and for their assets. But when you spend time fanboying, it makes you look weak.
Yeah. Now, he tagged KD into it, so he brought...
Now look at what Kevin Durant stated here. He said, middle school knockoff Stephen A. Now he's trying to come with the jokes, and I have no problem with that. It's okay to joke on a dude, but at least come with some substance first. As I stated, there are many instances that Kevin Durant could have cited where he could have shown examples of his playmaking and how he's actually made his team and his teammates better. And then he could have came with the, you're just a knockoff Stephen A. Smith. I mean, it is what it is. So now this cat Bucket Center comes back. You know it's true. That's why your insecure ass responded to me. That's Troll 101. That is Troll 101. To make an inflammatory statement and then be very, very happy that he got the target of his inflammatory statement to respond back to him. Even on my little YouTube channel, I've experienced that phenomenon. Kevin Durant should have saw that coming. And unlike me, at least I'm operating on my own YouTube channel. Kevin Durant, I think that it would have been something different if he was on his own platform and this person, Bucket Center, jumped on Kevin Durant's platform to harass him. The fact that he decided to go all the way to Bucket Center's channel just to go back and forth with him and then not really have anything of depth or substance to say, that's what makes KD look bad. But anyway, Bucket Center says, why don't you actually prove you can lead a team to a championship? Not even in the same galaxy as LeBron. So as we can see, Bucket Center is a LeBron James fanboy. You don't go back and forth with fanboys. They have an inordinate infatuation with a certain man. There is nothing that you're going to be able to do to prove anything to them. It does not matter. There are numerous athletes that I talk about on my channel who have very powerful and prominent cults of personality, and their fanboys try to go back and forth with me all the time. It is what it is. It's okay. It's very traumatic to have certain things stated about the object of your fanboyism that are contrary to the narrative that is perpetuated about that idol. Because that's all it is idolatry. Kevin Durant is trying to go back and forth with someone who idolizes LeBron James. He's wasting his damn time.
So he brought KD into the discussion, but...
Now KD states, who brought up LeBron? Now KD, just the fact that you are asking that question, that should be a form of self-assertion that you should not be talking to this dude. And now he's going to come back, you took real personal, relax, but it's just basketball. KD states, you've been tagging me in posts for months. I respond, and you finally speak your mind. LOL, nice. Well, KD, he was waiting for you to respond because he's a troll. Why are you worried about what he's saying unless you feel like there's some credibility to what he's saying? And if you feel like he's wrong, once again, supply some empirical data. There are many instances that KD could have responded with, that he could have conjured up to speak with this dude about, if that's truly what his focus was. But I agree with this dude. I think that KD was emotional. I think that he became inflamed when this person did not put him in the same stratosphere, on the same echelon as LeBron James, because that is clearly what KD is shooting for. So now at the bottom, this person, Bucket Center, states, how did I take anything personal? You call me knock off Stephen A, buddy. Well, maybe that's how Kevin felt.
But KD clapped back from his real account.
Now look at KD. You're right. I take that back. I apologize. Now, you see, that's what makes him look soft. If you're going to say something to a dude, mean it. Don't say all this crazy shit and then come back and apologize. If you feel like he's a knockoff Stephen A, then say it. The dude said, I like analyzing the game and just providing my opinion. If you can't respect that, that isn't my business. Once again, opinions are okay. Some people have an opinion that they like steak. Other people have an opinion that they like fish. There's only so far that conversations like that can go. That is why KD should not have responded to this person unless he was going to respond with facts. Now at the bottom, KD says, I get it. You obviously want people to respond to it. So I did. If you can't respect it, then oh well. I guess that's the oh well or I don't know sign. KD, just exit expeditiously.
Oh, yeah. Saying, quote, go sweep your dorm.
Do you tag all of your followers in posts? You wanted me to view it? I did. Uh-oh, exclamation point. I say this all the time. I don't respect men that use exclamation points in their comments. If you use all caps or exclamation points, you're already telling me that you have a serious issue with your bitch energy. At the bottom, this person, Bucket Center, states, I respect your game and understand that you're the greatest scorer I've ever seen, but I just don't think you can lead a team like Steph and Bron. Doesn't mean you aren't the best 1v1 player in basketball, but it means I take those guys on my team before you. You know, to be quite frank with you, I would take both those guys on my team before KD also. Because KD's not a leader at all. I don't think that either one of those other two players, Steph or Bron, are great leaders per se, but they're better leaders than KD. And I think that KD understands that they're both better leaders than him. But he can't go back and forth on an individual level in regards to proving that he's better than Steph and Bron, because this conversation right here is for all the world to see. And to be quite frank with you, I thought that KD has been speaking reckless about Steph Curry in a roundabout way for a while now, especially in regards to the sneakers that Steph Curry wears, where he stated that everybody wears Nike, nobody's wearing Under Armour. Even if that's true, that's not something that you say about your teammate. So sometimes KD has diarrhea mouth, but to be quite frank with you, he's never learned any wisdom. He's been playing basketball since he was 7 years old. He grew up in a house with a single mother, nothing against her. The sister did the best that she could. But there are just certain modes of operation that a man has to learn from a male figure.
Your dorm room, you don't know hoops. That then continue.
So right here, KD states, I don't care about your opinion. That's fine. I have one too and I disagree, but you got really mad and started calling me insecure and shit for having an opinion. Relax, buddy. Calling me a bum. Whoa. We can talk without you getting upset. You get irrational when you're upset. I want the best version of you while we... So as we can see, Kevin Durant is trying to swing the pendulum back into his favor by making a psychoanalytical assessment of Mr. Bucket Center.
That then continued into the DMs, which of course...
The best version of you while we talk hoops. So Bucket Center responds back, calling me a knockoff Stephen A and telling me to clean my dorm room is being insecure. I'm not upset at all. No, actually, I think that you are upset. You're upset because you're a fanboy. You're trying to connect with a professional athlete. One finally responded to you, and he told you about yourself, and he tried to minimalize and marginalize you, and it hurt your feelings. Now, KD states, I apologize for the knockoff joke, and you don't ever clean your room. Now KD's trying to clown him now.
Of course, NBA players should know these are not direct messages.
But you didn't need to come at me like that for a hoops opinion. Bucket Center has his feelings hurt. KD states, well, I'm sorry, didn't mean to offend you. Your sports takes are biased and I skewed and I disagree. That better? The Bucket Center states, you're entitled to your opinion and I'm entitled to mine. Going to use your comments as motivation to... Both these guys are very, very, very emotional.
Messages, because you know they're going to get screenshot.
Going to use your comments as motivation to become a professional basketball analyst on a big-time network, and hope you can use mine as motivation to prove doubters like me wrong.
Posted. Nick, what is your reaction?
Rachel, can we get KD some hobbies? I mean, like, this is...
Well, KD is just about to turn 30, so for the most part, he's matured into his manhood in the social media era. And pretty much those are the hobbies of people who have grown up in this era, is to go back and forth in the comment section on various social media outlets because they actually care about what strange people think about them. And let me say this once again, I think that Kevin Durant has done a great job handling himself as a grown man, seeing as though he's pretty much been famous most likely since he was about 14 years old. He's handled himself exceptionally well. I just think that if he was to go back and forth with this person, he could have eviscerated him much earlier just by providing some facts. That's all.
This is crazy. The DMs are
But
supposed
this
to
is
be...
clearly his hobby. This is what he likes
We
to
need
do.
some more. Can we get him like into like pottery or some
Well, what are your hobbies other than talking about what he's doing?
other
I've
thing
given
that's
up.
away from social media?
I've talked to him about this. I know you've talked to him about this. Like, you can't get into this. You can't let people get to you, and he's just not going to change. Like, this is...
I don't think that this person really got to him. I just think that KD is someone who likes to go back and forth with fans. I think that he lets it go too far, such as when he decided that he was going to create multiple fake accounts so that he could argue his own point and make it look like he was someone other than who he actually was, so that he could say things that he knew he could not say under his authenticated account. I think that's when he went a little bit too far. This wasn't too good, but at least he was able to once again swing the pendulum back into his favor by resorting to psychoanalytical tactics on Mr. Bucket Center, as opposed to allowing Bucket Center's assertions or observations to make him feel less than. I think that Kevin understands that a lot of people are jealous of him because of the situation that he's in. Number one, he's an extremely talented athlete. He was able to move to the greatest corporation in the NBA, that being the Golden State Warriors. I've stated this ad infinitum on this channel. People complain about LeBron James and Kevin Durant going from team to team. I guarantee you, in your field of endeavor, whatever it is that you do, if the best company in your field wanted you to work for them, you'd move on to that company. I guarantee you that. People try to use the argument that, well, this is a competitive sport. All business is competitive. Every business is competitive. It doesn't matter. You just don't know about it because you're not allowed to reap the benefits of competition like athletes are.
This is Kevin. And I think that's what makes him such a fascinating superstar, is that he is a real person. When you poke him, he bleeds. Like, he does respond, and like, he feels all that. And you had a great interview with him during the finals where he talked about it, and I thought winning was going to cure all of this stuff.
All these insecurities.
No, it's not going away. And that's just Kevin. And I think
that Kevin has a certain amount of insecurities, but he's a human being. Everyone has an insecurity or had them at some point until they were able to handle them in some way. I think that Kevin Durant is extremely inquisitive about himself, and he's using basketball as an outlet for his curiosity about himself and other people. Once again, he has handled himself exceptionally well overall in regards to his life. So we have to establish that before we scrutinize him so much for just responding back to someone on Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever outlet it may be. But once again, my only quibble with this is if you're going to respond back to a fanboy, to a troll, just state some facts. And then you can go about joking on him if that's what you want to do. Because most of these people, you can't take them too seriously.
I think he's starting to own that. I think he just knows who he is now, and it may not be like, you know, all the advice we all give him. Hey man, you just gotta like let go of that. You should see my feed, you know? Right? But like, he's not gonna change. That's him.
I never thought DMs would be for that kind of purpose.
Right, getting
with
into
an
the
NBA
DMs.
player. That is a whole different experience.
And there you go. But as I said, look, he's doing it from his real account.
Yeah.
You can't dock him for
Good
that.
for him.
Yeah.
Well, he's doing it from his real account, but it's not like he's saying anything inflammatory about someone else. Now, had this been back in the day when he had them 10 or 11 burner accounts, he might have went in and said, Steph Curry? You think Steph Curry is as good a leader as me? I mean, Kevin Durant? You must be crazy. A little birdie told me that Steph Curry wears pink underwear. Don't ask me how I know. I just know.
Maybe it is his hobby. Maybe this is how he lets off steam. I don't know. Fishing is nice. Jimmy
Find some
Butler
other
likes
ways,
to
my
fish. Paul
friend.
George.
Find a few other ways.
There you go. Jerry Wet.
I don't think that KD needs to find any other ways to enjoy himself if that's what he enjoys, as long as he doesn't do anything stupid. Once again, as long as you're not breaking the laws of the land or the laws of the Most High, do what comes natural to you. Just don't fall down those rabbit holes. When he was the Twitter victim, when he was compelled to create fake accounts so that he could express himself in a way that he knew would be considered unappealing or unprofessional, that was him falling down a rabbit hole. I don't really have too much of a problem with him going back and forth with a troll if he chooses to do so. Just state some facts and end it quickly. Don't extend the conversation, because most of these people, they ain't worth it. They just want your attention. As soon as you respond back, oh, I love what you do, I love this, I love that. And besides that, let's be for real, what the guy said was not totally untrue. As a matter of fact, I don't think that it was untrue at all. I think that all three of those players that he named were exactly how he described them. Great two-way players with no leadership abilities. It is what it is. Peace.